You've probably heard of BetterHelp, the self-proclaimed leader in online therapy, whose mission statement is to help you better your life through online counseling, online therapy, and the like. You've probably heard of it because maybe some of your favorite YouTubers, such as Philip DeFranco, Andy Worski, and others have been advertising it. I don't want to say shilling, but that's kind of what it is. They've been advertising it, and over the past few days, because a lot of YouTubers have called into question BetterHelp's terms of service as well as their privacy policy, they've put that on the back burner. BetterHelp has scrambled into cover your ass mode, and it's for a very good reason. There are a lot of questions that have not been answered. Now, full disclosure, I have sent an email, Tuesday in fact, to BetterHelp to get some answers to some of the questions that I have. And my questions specifically revolve around HIPAA. HIPAA is the Health Information Portability and Privacy Act of 1996. It is the be-all, end-all of what information can be shared, by whom, with whom. HIPAA violations are a huge issue. This is why hospitals pretty much keep any computer records on premises so that they can more accurately look into them. They can also make sure that there are no major breaches and that they can take care of any issues. It allows them a quicker way to make sure that their doctors are able to look into your medical history. It provides them an opportunity to allow you to look at your medical records and to correct things if you find it in a more timely manner, and also without having to charge you a per page fee of, I believe, 50 cents up to the first 100 pages, and after that, 25 cents each. HIPAA is the standard for health information protection. It is not a suggestion. It is not a recommendation. It is a fact of life for anyone in the health field, whether you're a health insurance company, one of the healthcare, what do they call it, exchanges for Obamacare, or you're a hospital or a small GP. Now, if you don't do anything online, for example, you're a doctor and you don't take Medicare, Medicaid, you don't take any insurance, you do everything by paper, you're actually not technically covered under HIPAA. That being said, you're going to have a shit ton of questions that you need to answer if you decide to give away some of that paper information to other parties. My focus is on the HIPAA because, as far as I'm concerned, having dealt with private information, personally identifiable information, PII, for the better part of 10 years, I understand the necessity for keeping this stuff under wraps and tightly controlled. PII is stuff such as your full name, your date of birth, your social security number. Now, BetterHelp apparently doesn't ask you for a social security number, but what are the odds that they're going to be able to get that? What I have up here is the privacy policy for BetterHelp. Now, full disclosure for myself. I'm not going to read this as if I am a doctor. I can't. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to read this as a lawyer. I'm not. I can only give you a layman's observations as someone who has worked in the healthcare field, as a volunteer counselor at the Veterans Administration, and as a legal student. I'm a layman. I read things, I analyze things, I interpret things. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will gladly say so. My entire background is a Bachelor in Arts degree in psychology from the University of Massachusetts that I received in 2005. I am HIPAA compliant for the VA. I signed off on the paperwork in 2013 when I first started volunteering there. I know what I have to do, I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. This entire privacy policy is pretty much a giant fuck you to HIPAA. Even if we come down all the way, you will see right there, HIPAA, right there, that second one on the lower right-hand corner. They say they're HIPAA compliant, but that is not the case. We're going to read over key sections of this, and we are going to talk about, or I'm going to explain exactly what the issues are. The first part we're going to talk about is log data. When you use the platform, meaning BetterHelp, our servers or servers of third parties automatically record information that your browser sends. This log data may include, but is not limited to, information such as your computer, IP address, pages that you visit and the time spent on those pages, actions that you take, and other statistics. We may use this information either by itself or in conjunction with the other information for the following purposes: monitor, analyze, improve the use and functionality of the platform's technical operation, and the match of the platform functionality to your needs and preferences. So basically what they're saying is that they're going to collect your cookies, your data, your Facebook profile, your Twitter profile, your Instagram profile. They're going to collect that information, your Amazon profile. Why do they need that? That doesn't really matter for getting some medical help. It has nothing to do with it unless you're looking at websites that are about suicide. But even then, they don't need to know about that. If you are a legitimate threat to yourself, they can contact the police and do a health and welfare inspection, a health and welfare check on you. This is actually commonly done if you pose a threat to yourself or others. Session content. Now, the session content is the verbal communication, video communication, text-based communication, IMs, and it's going to be stored by them. Now, the important part is this section. Note that all communications transferred through the platform may be recorded or monitored for quality assurance and training purposes and become part of your file and records. Why is that vague? Why is that a HIPAA violation? These people, the people they're hiring, are not going to be medical professionals. They are rather the people that are collating this stuff that they're going to be used for training purposes are not going to be medical professionals. They're probably not HIPAA compliant. They're probably not going to sign off on paperwork that says they understand what HIPAA is. And I'll go into that in a bit. What this means is that these people will see your deepest, darkest secrets, what you talk to your therapist about in violation of HIPAA. That's a huge no-no. These aren't medical professionals. They do not need to see what you're talking about. And the fact that they are admitting it may be used for quality assurance and training purposes speaks volumes. Your issues, your secrets, your fears are going to be open to these people like a book. It doesn't matter if they have your name attached to it. It's attached to your file. These people have no reason to see this information. It's not a training purpose. It's not for training purposes. That's not the purpose of you talking. But here we're going to be. Cookies and web beacons, basically saying that they're going to be using cookies like pretty much everybody. If you disable cookie usage, you may not have access to the site. Can't really fault them for that. It's an online site. Now here's something interesting. Social and general information tools. We will be using several publicly available tools and information exchange resources such as, but not limited to, a blog, Facebook page, Twitter account, Google Plus account, and others. Any information you provide or share by using the social and general information tools may be freely read, accessed, collected, and used by others. Well, guess what? Even if you don't provide that information, as we said, they're going to be monitoring the web pages you go to, how much time you spend on them. They're going to have access to that information, whether you provide it or not. We're seeing that with Google right now, who is able to figure out what your Facebook profile is, what your Twitter profile is, just by looking at your information on Chrome. And yes, I am right now using Chrome. They're going to be able to see that. They're going to be able to collate that and put together an actual idea of who you are. That's a little scary because they're going to be able to look at what you're talking about and figure out who you are, your depression, your mental issues, etc. So, and this is no different than last year when Facebook went to some hospitals and said, we'd like to get medical information on your patients and we'd like to use it for our own research purposes. Read that, as they want to use it to sell it, to market more effectively. Their advertisements would be better geared towards you as an individual based on your income, because they did go to banks as well, your mental health state, your physical health state, etc. Now, thankfully, these hospitals didn't do so, but still, BetterHelp is offering the possibility of that becoming a thing. Aggregate information and non-identifying information We may share aggregated information that does not include any PII with third parties for any purpose, but including but not limited to industry analysis, research, business transactions, and public relations. They are going to sell your data to include all that personal information, the Facebook page, the Twitter page, etc., that they collect by scanning your computer and your cookies. If you think that's not going to happen, you're the product here. You are the product that they are selling. Forget this entire thing about counselors and making you a better person. No, they even admit in their terms of service, they don't look at who these counselors are. They actually had one who was indicted for rape. I believe his name was Al Dershberger. Yeah, he's indicted for rape, and up until yesterday, his name was on the site. It was removed yesterday after a few people pointed out exactly who he was and what was going on. They're going to sell your information. Service providers. This is a big one. We may employ third-party companies and individuals to facilitate our platform, such as auditing, legal, operational, or other services for us. These tasks include, but are not limited to, customer service, technical assistance, monitoring, email management and communication, database management, billing and payment, reporting, and analytics. When needed, we may disclose information, including personal information, to such third parties, but we will try to limit the PII disclosed to the minimum necessary to perform their task. Third parties are going to have access to this information. Their own IT guys, apparently they're not going to have any. It's going to be shuttled out to some company in India. Yeah, your information is going to Indians. You know how much they care about your personal information. Yeah. So once again, your information going to people, you don't even know who they are. This is the big one, and this is where I say they're not going to be HIPAA compliant. And remember that HIPAA is specifically for the United States. If you're in another country, check with your state laws on what information is supposed to be protected, how it's supposed to be protected, and what they're supposed to do in the case of a violation. If there's a HIPAA violation, the HIPAA law actually does not provide legal remedy beyond filing a complaint with Health and Human Services. You don't have the ability to sue as an individual against a hospital for a HIPAA violation. You have to look at your own state's laws in order to do something. International transfer. Your information may be transferred to and maintained on computers located outside of your state, province, country, or other governmental jurisdiction where the privacy laws may not be as protective as those in your jurisdiction. If you are located outside the U.S. and choose to provide information to us, we may transfer personal information to the United States and process it there. If you are located in the U.S. and choose to provide information to us, we may also transfer some personal information outside of the U.S. and process it there. Your consent to this privacy policy, followed by your submission of such information, represents your agreement to such transfers. No. There is a basic tenet in law, especially in the United States and other Commonwealth nations. You cannot sign away your rights. You cannot be a willing victim to a crime. A HIPAA violation is a crime. It carries a penalty of a fine and possible jail time. It is a crime. This is unenforceable. However, they're still going to do it. They don't tell you where their servers are located, where this information is located. And even though we can go down and see that they have a data protection officer in Sunnyvale, California, and they have a GDPR Article 27 EU representative located in Spain, your information is still not going to be held there. That's only where the physical individual is located. Their server farms could be located in India. It could be located in Kenya, in Honduras. It could be located in the middle of the freaking Atlantic Ocean. We don't know. And if it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, that's a whole nother story, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Admiralty law, and I ain't touching that. Your information is not guaranteed to be in your country. In the United States, this wouldn't be too much of an issue if it was, say, in Missouri. I'm in Massachusetts. If it's in the middle of Iowa or Missouri, the federal law still protects me. It's still the overarching principle, the overarching legislature that governs what they can do and what they can't do. This is a no-no. Your information is going to be sold. They've just said this. They think that this will cover them, and it's located in India. Well, their laws aren't, that the government came in and took our servers. There was nothing we could do. No, you're actually required to protect that information. This guy who runs this, I think his name is Elon Metis, worked with the IDF, and this isn't Gur Israel or anything like that, but he worked with the IDF as a systems information specialist. He knows how to protect stuff like this. And the fact that he's not is a huge red flag for anybody who's going to use this. Your information will be sold, ladies and gentlemen. Like it or not, this is not in compliance with HIPAA in the United States. I don't think it's going to be in compliance with Canadian, British, Scottish, Australian, hell, maybe not even Russian law. It is not cheaper to use this site than it is to go face-to-face with an actual therapist. It's not going to be, because there are huge issues about your information being sold to third parties such as Google and Amazon. There are going to be huge issues with the possibility of them being hacked. Your information is not safe. And once these people have your information, it's only a slow line. It's a small leap from having the information to being able to figure out who you are, to being able to blackmail you with that information. And that's a thing. Extortion using this information will become a thing. We've seen this already with the Ashley Madison hack, where people were actually having their information blackmailed. It's going to happen. It's going to. If you use this site, it's on you. Absolutely. But keep in mind that you have your own protections that you can use. But once the horse is gone, bolting the door isn't going to help. Once your information is out there, once all this information they've collected and they've collated is out there, it's over for you. And that information will be used by less than reputable people, less than reputable governments, to go after you, and will be used against you.